Welcome to another episode of Golden Nuggets, Tips and Tales, powered by Property Finder, the leading property platform and #1 property app in the region, driving more leads and transactions than any other platform. This is where super agents and smart home seekers meet even smarter tech, because behind every great listing and every hot lead is technology that works harder so you don't have to. Today, we are back with Vladimir Malugin, the Vice President of UAE at Property Finder. And as we've discussed in one of your other episodes, not all listings are created equal, okay? And, some get buried on page 3. We know the importance of being on page 1. But what is really moving the needle? Is it community? Is it the photos? Or is it something else? There's a lot of talk about specializing in a community. How important is that from you?
Communities are super important today. Community knowledge and community expertise is the new real estate currency when it comes to understanding the market in Dubai.
You've got a niche down then.
You got to niche down them. You got to understand which communities generate value and which communities generate the transactions.
You know which ones they are, don't you?
Well, there's 224 communities in Dubai. So
Wow.
it is a city that is split into many communities. The top 25 communities generate 73% of the transaction value.
Oh, there you go. It's was it Pareto? Pareto
It is exactly
law?
that. So the top 10 in terms of volume of communities, right? So 25 generate 73% of the value of the transactions, which for an agent means that 73% of the commission is going to be concentrated in those top 25 communities.
Okay, so very, very competitive.
The next 58 communities drive 90% of the value of the transactions.
All right.
Today, if you go on Property Finder, you're going to find 8 out of 10 properties that are listed anywhere in Dubai on Property Finder.
Will be on your platform.
They will be on the platform.
Okay.
If you look at consumer entrance and the share of demand, Property Finder today has a lion's share of the interest and share of voice or share of demand for these top 25 communities, for the top 58 communities. And in fact, for 97% of the communities in Dubai, we're the first choice.
I like that word, share of voice. Used that before in my startup. SOV, very important. So make sure you have an SOV in your community, market share in your community. Okay, let's unpack another competition, villas versus apartments. What are people looking for?
It's undisputed today that there is a shortage of villas and townhouses.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, Dubai from the early days used to be a bit of a transient city. So people used to come here, spend 2-3 years. And when a lot of us came here in the early 2000s, we were enamored with the high rises of downtown
Road,
Sheikh
yeah.
Zayed Road, later Dubai Marina, and people wanted to live in an apartment with a great, ideally, sea view. So the developers built a lot of apartments, and a lot of the ownership was concentrated around investors that were effectively looking for higher rental yields.
Yeah.
As the city progressed, and with the advent of the golden visas, and with COVID, where people were effectively confined to their apartments, not all apartments had a balcony. You don't always have the ability to open the windows. So people started appreciating outside spaces a lot more.
Yeah.
And we wanted to be out. We wanted to be in our little garden or on the terrace. So during the COVID time, there was a lot of interest and there was a spike in demand and interest for the villas and the townhouses. And if you look at what is continuously being built by the developers, a larger proportion of that is still apartments.
Yeah.
But understanding the trends, understanding which communities are largely villa and townhouse dominated, which communities are apartment dominated, and what are the key factors that are influencing that, that's what every agent should do.
Yeah. And you made a good point. So it's kind of that lockdown made us want a bit more outside space. You've got a lot more companies offering flexible working, so you can work from home. Before, people used to just stay here for 2 years. Now they're building families, they're getting pets. So there is that demand, the lifestyle has changed. It is more of a long-term stay rather than a 2-year stopgap or 2-year experiment, shall we say. So people are establishing roots here. So the villa communities are driving demand.
Population of Dubai is close to 3.8 million. I think the latest data suggests that there is anywhere between 350,000 to 400,000 golden visa holders.
Right.
So people are indeed looking at a longer horizon. They're starting to think about 10 years, and people are now starting to think of Dubai as their home and a place where effectively they're settling for the longer term.
So going back to the phrase that I liked, SOV, share of voice, how do you advise agents to get that SOV in their community?
You need to have data at your fingertips. There's a number of sources where you as an agent or as an owner, a decision maker for the agency, can get that data. Property Finder Expert 2.0 is the latest platform that we've rolled out recently, and you have tools such as Listings Performance Dashboard that will tell you what is trending and what is hot and what is not. We mentioned in some of the previous episodes such things as Data Finder and Data Guru. One of them is consumer facing, the other one is agent facing, which gives you the data, the transaction data, the communities, and what is trending in those communities. And another important element is Property Finder Market Watch, which is a quarterly market overview that we release that talks both about communities and more general trends, whether that's the Dubai market or Abu Dhabi market. So when you have access to that data, this is what you need to know in order to inform your decisions and have informed conversations with either landlords or buyers and renters.
Yeah, because they're just as privy to the data as you are now. So it'd be very embarrassing if your seller or tenant comes up to you and knows more about the transaction data than you do. So you've always got to be one step ahead.
People will make decisions based on data. Buyers today are very well informed, whether it's investors or whether that's renters or buyers. They will research the community before they approach an agent, and will have very well informed conversations. So you as an agent need to be on top of that.
Yeah. And that brings us back to pricing strategy. So we spoke in the other episode, you mentioned that the average time on market for a secondary listing that is not premiumed or featured or spotlit is 50 days.
Correct.
So somewhere in that 50 days, if it hasn't shifted, a discussion is going to need to be had about bringing the price down.
That is correct. And you as an agent don't want to be having that discussion with your landlord. So what you want to do is within the first, I would say, month, which is the golden opportunity, you really would want to try to sell or make sure that the listing that you have, it's a rental listing, transacts. What is effectively the real estate profession about? It's about getting instructions from sellers or landlords. It is about making sure that your agents make a good connection between the seller, landlord, and the buyer, and then making sure that you're attracting the right level of leads to the property that you're trying to transact on.
And in terms of influencing the listing, you've got the price agreed. Is there anything that you can do to move the needle, whether it comes to, the photos, floor plans, 3D tours, like how important are these?
It's really about the highest quality of the listing combined with the visibility of the listing and trying to stay as close to page one or top of page one, or at least within the first 3 pages as possible. The highest quality of consumer leads are coming on the first 3 pages, and Spotlight is today the type of product that accords you the highest transacting consumer leads. Now, there is a conversation in town that a lot of leads that are coming on Property Finder are agent-led leads.
Ooh.
The actual number is 15 to 20%.
Wow. So
but as you're progressing,
1 in 5 calls is going to be another agent.
There is the advent of the buyer agents today. The largest source of traffic on Property Finder today is the UAE residents. But the second category or the second nationality that is browsing or looking for listings today on Property Finder is the Americans. And in the United States, there is such a thing as buyer agents. So people will call ahead of the time. They will instruct an agent or an agency to show them a set of properties that they would like to see when they're coming to Dubai for a week. So an important element of the conversation with an agent, if you're getting an agent lead, is to try to qualify that agent exactly the same way as you're qualifying a consumer and understand, is that somebody fishing for your stock, or does that agent actually have a buyer behind them, right? Is that, again, mortgage buyer, a cash buyer? What is the transaction horizon? What type of property they're looking for? Today, a lot of agents are going to put down the phone when they hear that there's another agent.
Right.
Do have the conversation. It's a lot better to make a dirham than not to make 2 dirhams. So split commissions are a thing. Have that conversation. Have that qualification.
I think that still got some work to do, because the majority of agents are acting as sellers agents. And once they've got that listing that they work so hard for, they know that if they give it the right attention, they list it well, they will get the direct buyer. But as you said, if the number one foreign browser is coming from the US, they're used to having a buyer's agent on their side. So do you predict a shift? We're going to have buyer's agents and seller's agents eventually?
It's already happening. It is already happening. Now, another perception in the market is, I'm not getting quality leads. And yes, it depends where these leads are coming from, whether they're coming from the tail end and, tail end of the pages, or whether they're coming in the first 3 pages. But my strong belief is that there are no bad leads. There is just poor qualification. A lead is not a one-time thing. A lead is something that you want to treasure, something that you want to value, and something that you want to harness the value of over a period of time. Because some leads will transact in the first few months, others will take a little bit longer, and sometimes somebody might call you back, 2-3 years down the road.
Yeah.
So it is that level of engagement, it is that level of community expertise that you demonstrate as an agent that will make people return to you.
Oh, it's another tech phrase. Was it LTV?
Lifetime value of the customer.
Yes, there you go. So if you harness that lead from day one, you have no idea how much you can make from, not just from that lead, but also from their referrals if they feel that they've been given a good service.
Agents today talk about their little prized black book. How do people come up with these black books? It is the repeat buyers. It is the repeat clients that they have. Now, sometimes what we also see is some of these repeat buyers will come back through Property Finder, because Property Finder today has the largest choice when it comes to properties, whether that's for sale or for rent. And people will look at both secondary and primary listings. And we might be giving that buyer that you might have in your CRM or might have in your little black book the buying impulse. So they're going to get that buying impulse and they will call an agency and an agent. So you want to make sure that you're well informed to be able to take that transaction.
And just to recap, what tools do you feel that the agents are underusing when it comes to becoming a community expert?
You need to understand what is trending in your community. You need to understand what type of stock is in demand. We today share a lot of data with agents and agencies in terms of what is being searched. And usually we see the search trends 2-3 months before things will transact. Now, a lot of that data is available at their fingertips on PF Expert 2.0, on Data Finder and Data Guru. And don't forget Market Watch.
And agents should be spending at least 15 minutes a day on 2.0, right?
Agents should be engaging on a daily matter with the tools and the data that is available. They should stay ahead of the game because this is what competitive agents do today.
Okay, there you have it. This is what competitive agents do today. Hope you enjoyed that. Make sure you catch the rest of Vladimir's episodes. And while you're at it, why not binge the whole season? Plenty of golden nuggets dropped and tips and tales.